Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Dracon. Oh, I am exhausted. Feel drained. I guess you can say I feel kind of tired. Drained, both emotionally and physically. Could say I'm even dead inside. Don't know what it could be. No, it couldn't be. Oh, I was careful. There's no way I could have ran into a Necromancer. Those foul magicians. Masters of the dark arts. Raisers of the dead. Though it could explain my exhaustion. Necromancers have a way of draining life force from their opponents, from their targets. And do you know of a necromancer more powerful than the rest? A master of the necrotic arts. I sure do. Her name is Liliana Vess. The most powerful necromancer in the Magic the Gathering. And she is downright evil. Forget her redemption arc. She is the most vile necromancer of all time. I dare say that she makes some of the greatest necromancers in Dungeons & Dragons pale in comparison. Vecna? Who's that? Never heard of him. Liliana Vess is the most powerful necromancer. And she is a member, or at least was a member, of the Gatewatch, alongside Chandra, Nissa, Eljani, Gideon, and Jace. In fact, speaking of Jace, for a time, Liliana and Jace had a relationship. Granted, it was because Liliana was manipulating Jace, which is why I don't really approve of their relationship. Jace deserves much better. Anyway, Liliana is an evil necromancer. Very powerful. And today we are going to convert her into a Dungeons & Dragons character. As always, we will be starting off... Oh, right. Some complications with Liliana Vess. There seem to be some contradictions to her character that would not make a very good character. First and foremost, her origin story has her as a healer. And she is known as a cleric, as you can see in the card. So we would have to figure out a way for her to have healing magic. And that's going to complicate things because we know her as a necromancer. That means, at the very least, we are going to have 14 levels in the wizard class. This leaves only 6 levels for any other class, or classes. Next we have her contract with not 1, but 4 demonic lords. So we're going to have to sprinkle in some Warlock somewhere. And not to mention her connection to the Chain Veil, an artifact that has sentience and she has sort of a pact with it as well. So that is 4 different things that we need to work into Liliana's character. Might seem really tough, especially with some of these classes only getting their good abilities at certain levels. But I think I found something. So we're going to try it. Let's start off with her stats. We're going to go with the point buy system as we always do. Her strength is going to be her dump stat. We don't really care about it. She doesn't really care about it. She is all for the magic. Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma are all going to be a 13. Intelligence will be her highest stat at a 14. Her race is going to be human. We're going to be using the human variant. This will give us an increase in 2 of our ability scores. I went ahead and went with Wisdom and Charisma. Her speed is 50 feet. Languages are going to be Common and Elvish. And I somehow misspelled Common. Whatever. Skill, we're going to choose Persuasion, and feat is going to be Magic Initiate, and we are going to pick Cleric for the spells we are going to draw from. Cantrips will grab Spare the Dying and Toll the Dead. For a first level spell, we are going to grab Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds being the stronger of the 2 healing spells that I can get as a first level spell. It's very hard to choose when you are so limited. Alright, since we're increasing our Wisdom and our Charisma, we now have 3 stats that are 14. Let's go ahead and go with background. We're going with my favorite background, the Haunted one. This background I have for a character design that I made a while back, but haven't gotten to use yet. The Haunted one has to be one of my most favorite backgrounds. We get 2 skills. We went with Arcana and Religion. We get an exotic language of our choice, or just 2 normal languages. I went with Abyssal, because she does have a contract with 3 demons. Now you have to choose a harrowing event. I decided to go with her origin story. Spoilers, by the way, if you have not looked into it. And you also get to feature Heart of Darkness. Characteristics. Once again, I went with quotes that she used in the continuity. You can find these in some of her cards. The only thing I did not go by the cards was her bond. I had to change that a little bit. It's somewhat from one of the cards, but it's not entirely. Moving on to class, we are going with Wizard to start off. This will give us a hit die of 1d6, and we are going to start off with 6 hit points plus our Constitution modifier. So, since we only have 1, it's going to be 7 hit points. Not terrible, but not fantastic either. At higher levels, we'll get a 1d6 plus Constitution modifier per wizard level after the first. Proficiencies is going to be daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows for weapons. Your saving throws are going to be intelligence on wisdom. Skills go with insight and medicine. Once again, we are a healer, so we're going to need ways of healing people even without magic. We get spell casting. Our spell save DC and modifier are going to be based off intelligence. We also have a spell book and ritual casting. We also get the arcane recovery feature, which I have to admit, not one of the greatest feats a wizard can have. I mean, sure, you're able to regain all of your spell slots up to a certain level. Once you get to 6th level, you're not going to have that many spell slots left. you can't regain anything higher than a 6th level spell slot. So, once you use that spell slot, it's gone. Goodbye, see ya. You would need to save those spell slots for an end-game event. Leveling up to level 2, we get Arcane Tradition. Of course, we are going with Necromancy. We get the features of Necromancy Savant and Grim Harvest. Grim Harvest is really good. You'll be able to regain your hit points whenever you use I think it's kill a creature with a Necromancy spell. Level 3, we don't really get anything. It's just another spell slot. At level 4, we get an ability score improvement. If you do not want to use any feats, go ahead and just increase your intelligence and your charisma to a 15. If you do want feats, the new feats came out from Unearthed Arcana, and one of my favorites is the Meta Magic Adept. You gain 2 meta magic options from the Sorcerer class, and you also gain 2 sorcery points that can only be used with meta magic. I went with the Quicken spell and the Twin spell. Quicken spell, you can use 2 sorcery points to cause one of your spells to become a bonus action instead of 1 action. And the Twin spell can be used on a spell that targets 1 creature, and it will instead target 2 creatures. This cannot be used on spells such as Magic Missile, which targets multiple creatures, or has an area of effect like Fireball. The meta magic is really good. That's why I chose it for Liliana. Say you wanted to, I don't know, bring a skeleton back from the dead later on with Animate's Dead. Now you can do it with 2. Alright, moving on to level 5. Nothing. Level 6, we get Undead Thralls. This will automatically add the spell Animate Dead to our spellbook. And our new undead will gain certain bonuses once we revive them, which is going to be really good. Now let's get to the interesting part. We're going to add Warlock. We're going to do level 1 Warlock. You will get a 1d8 hit die, and hit points will start increasing by a 1d8 plus our Constitution modifier per Warlock level. Proficiencies, we now have light armor proficiency and simple weapon proficiencies. Now, the Patron was going to be the trickiest part. We could have gone with Fiend to go with the Demons. Could have gone with the Great Old One to go with Nicol Bolas's pact thing during the War of the Spark arc. But no. I went with neither of them and chose Hexblade to go with her partnership with the Chain Veil, which is technically a what's the term? I'm sure somebody's gonna put it down in the comments. Oh, sentient magic item. It's a sentient magic item. Anyways, it's not really a weapon, but it's a sentient magic item that she has a bond with. So, we're going to go with Hexblade. We get Hexblade's Curse and Hex Warrior. Our Pact Magic is going to be based off of our Charisma modifier. We're going to increase another level in Wizard to level 7, so we just get another spell slot for our Wizards. Level 2 Warlock will give us 2 Eldritch Invocations. I went with Agonizing Blast and Book of Secrets, which unfortunately we won't have access to at the moment, because we do not meet its prerequisite. But Agonizing Blast will be very useful for our Eldritch Blast, and thanks to our meta magic, the Twin spell, our Eldritch Blast can hit 2 creatures and deal extra damage. At level 3, we get a Pact Boon, and if you haven't guessed by the previous level, we are going with Pact of the Tome. It gives us 2 cantrips. Infestation, well, 3 cantrips, I forgot a comma. Infestation, Lightning Lure, and Vicious Mockery are the spells that I decided to go with. And thanks to the Book of Ancient Secrets, we get 2 first-level ritual spells. I went with Alarm and Unseen Servant, since that kind of fit with a ghostly theme. We're going to a level 4 Warlock. If you took a feat, go ahead and increase your intelligence and your charisma both to 16. If you have taken a feat, just increase your intelligence and wisdom up to a 15. Going on to level 8, if you did not take any feats, increase your wisdom modifier to 16. If you do want to take another feat, go with the Shadow Touched. This will increase your charisma to a 15, and you get 2 new spells, Darkness, and 1 first level spell of your choice that is either necrotic or an illusion. I went with Ray of Sickness, because it's a pretty cool spell to use. Going on to a level 9 Wizard, we don't really get anything except for a new spell slot. Level 10 Wizard, however, gets Inured to Death. This kind of resembles the card Liliana Untouched by Death. You are now resistant to necrotic damage and spells from necromancy. So that's good. Level 11 Wizard, nothing special. Level 12 Wizard, however, gets another ability score improvement. If you have taken a feat, go ahead and increase your If you have not taken a feat, increase your intelligence to 18. If you have taken the feats thus far, go ahead and increase your intelligence and your charisma to a 16. Going to a level 5 Warlock, we really don't get anything. Level 13 Wizard, we don't get anything. Level 6 Warlock, however, is the reason why I chose the Hexblade in the first place, the Accursed Spectre. When you kill a creature, it will rise as a spectre. At least you will rip its soul from its body to rise as a spectre, which will start your undead army, because specters will be able to create even more undead under its control, and the spectre is under your control. Alright, finally, level 14. We can command undead. Oh, there's an army of zombies here? They're mine now. Boom, there's my army of zombies. Kill your former master. This is Liliana, the commander of the undead. Or as it's said in one of her cards, the dreadhorde general. Alright, so going on to spells. From her feats, we're going to go back over the spells. We got Spare the Dying and Toll the Dead, as well as Cure Wounds. Thanks to the Shadow Touched feat from the new Unearthed Arcana, we get Ray of Sickness and Darkness. From our Book of Shadows, from our Warlock feature, Pact of the Tome, plus the Book of Ancient Secrets, we have Infestation, Lightning Lure, and Vicious Mockery. As a first level ritual spell, we get Alarm and Unseen Servant. Of course, you can acquire more rituals to add to your Book of Darkness or Book of Ancient Secrets. Wouldn't then it be called the Book of Ancient Shadows? That seems more likely. Anyways, moving on to our actual spell levels. At first level Wizard, we will have the cantrip of Acid Splash, Chill Touch, and Mind Sliver. First level spells is going to be Acid Stream, Cause Fear, Detect Magic, False Life, Magic Missile, and Shield. The reason why I have so many acid-based spells is because we want to decompose bodies quickly. That way we can have them raise up as skeletons, or we can tear down certain things. Be perfect. Now, The tricky part was 14th level wizard. I had to go each individual level of my wizard in order to find out what spells I was getting. Because every time you level up as a wizard, you get 2 new spells for free. Plus, there was the feature, the Thralls one. We automatically get Animate Dead as a spell. So that was a total of 21 spells. And that is not including any spells you might find on your adventure. And that you will be adding to your spellbook or to your Book of Shadows. This is just raw wizard levels. 21 spells. You cannot get that from any other class, unfortunately. It only gets worse. For our Warlock spells, we get, at first level, the 2 cantrips, Eldritch Blast and Green Flame Blade. We have a first level spell slot, and we get 2 spells. I chose Hellish Rebuke and Hex. They're pretty good spells, so I went with them. And one of the abilities from Hexblade's Curse requires us to have a curse or a hex, so I went with the Hex spell. At 6th level Warlock, we get 2 3rd level spell slots and even more spells to work with, which is insane. How are we supposed to be able to use all these spells if we only have 2 spell slots? I don't know. Alright, now for the equipment. You're starting in equipment, you're going to get some really good stuff. Especially thanks to your background as the Haunted One. It is why I love it so much. You get the Monster Hunters pack, which gives you a whole lot of cool stuff. And it's going to be useful for when you need something in a pinch. And for your arcane focus, I didn't really know what to go with. I just went with tattoos, since that was a defining part of Liliana's character. It was technically part of her pact with the demons, but it's still a good spellcasting focus. Now, some equipment that I think would be good for Liliana to carry is to have some poisons, some potions, just in case she runs out of spell slots or her usage for cure wounds. It's best to have some potion of healing. Also recommend getting some flasks of acid and some darts, which would be really useful. Now, magic items. Didn't really know what to go with. However, a couple of items really stuck out to me because of a couple of different things that you see within the game. One of the cards has Liliana talking about a elemental of some sorts. Of course, it's a black magic elemental, so we don't really know what type of element it is. My best guess is that it's an earth elemental. So I went with 2 magic items that related to earth elementals. The elemental gem, yellow diamond, and the ring of earth elemental command. I also went with the cloak of Arachnida, which is a pretty cool magic item, and she does wear a cloak. Sort of. She technically has on a dress, but that doesn't seem practical for fighting, so a cloak would be really good too. I also got Robe of the Archmage on here because it's a pretty good magic item. It increases your damage output from your spells and your spell save DC as well. It's really good. Alright, so that's going to be all for today. I'm sorry this took longer than usual, viewers. But Liliana's a pretty decent character. And let me tell you, you're probably going to have fun playing as Liliana. Or at least a character built similarly to Liliana. Until next time, this has been Drehon, and I am offline. Ooh, I need some rest.